Hello, everyone. You can see I am Thor tonight, old Thor, in the future Thor. I guess I'm old because my hammer's got a little rust on it. At least that's what I thought. But what happened, I fell asleep in front of the TV after supper, and the wife yelled at me to wake me up in time for the show. And I think I peed myself a little bit when I woke up. So that's what that was. Anyway, let's just start talking about. Let's get the commercialization out of here. I got to talk about the Paracon down in New Orleans. First, we'll talk about the group running the Paracon. We're going to go ahead and get voices from beyond. New Orleans Paranormal Society. Go ahead and throw the other picture up. This is their address and phone number, etc., etc. It's their information. If you want to go on a tour, they do not walk you in front of a haunted home and say, "This house is haunted," wave their arms in the air, and you walk on to the next building. No, they take you inside that building that's guaranteed haunted, put a piece of equipment in your hand, and you can watch people run equipment, or you can do it yourself, but they will put you in contact with a ghost. New Orleans is one of the most haunted cities in this country, and they in the French Quarter, which is where they do this, including the Andrew Jackson Hotel, a very haunted place. And you'll slave quarters behind the voodoo shop that our boss lady, Adriana, will know very well during the Paracon. And like I said, call them if you're going up to New Orleans this spring or this summer. Don't go this summer. Go the spring and reserve yourself a tour with them. They will take you to Andrew Jackson. We'll be there for about an hour or so in the Andrew Jackson and behind the voodoo shop, among other places. You will be doing some serious ghost hunting. Right now, we're going to go ahead and move on from New Orleans Paranormal Society to their Paracon, New Orleans Paracon 2026. Hit it. Book your packages now. They still have a package for $300. The RIP is $349. Those prices might not last very much longer. Some of the packages are almost sold out. Litriana's tour at the Voodoo shop is almost sold out. She is very popular. We all like her around here. But she is almost sold out. So if you want to go with Letriana and do some ghost hunting behind the voodoo shop there in New Orleans, you better go ahead and buy your ticket because those are going. It's a guaranteed haunted place. I have investigated this thing personally 3 times. Three. Like that's three, whatever. My finger's red. No, I got most of the stain off of it. I still got it on more. You see where I was staining the house there. Looks like I got some really major league freckles. Anyway, at least I got all of my face. But that place is guaranteed haunted. Been there, like I said, 3 times. Some of the ghosts are friendly. Do not taunt the spirits there. They will come back at you if you taunt them. If you talk nice, they will talk nice. And by the way, anybody going to the New Orleans Paracon, do not wear Crocs, flip-flops, sandals, or any open-toed shoes. The reason why, look up street gravy in New Orleans. New Orleans is either right at, some places are below sea level, which means the water table is right there. You can get a child's plastic shovel and try to dig a small hole with it, and you will strike water. So when you see water, and you know it hasn't rained, creeping up out of the bricks, out of the sidewalk, out of the street, do not step in that water. It could be sewage. It could be, where a horse is just going by. Do not step in it. Do not wear open shoes. And try not to fall down because you don't want that stuff on your hands. Anyway, just a fast warning about anybody going to New Orleans. And I believe that our guest coming up in a few minutes, I believe he likes rum, I think I heard. So we'll talk to him about that. But now we have a new special guest at the New Orleans Paracon. Please show the bat video, Gwen.
夜明けが迫り来る招かさる感情真空の逆流に私は酔いしれた心臓から
Yes, Father Sebastian, who does not do many Paracons, is going to be at the New Orleans Paracon. You can meet him if you want to. But like I said, this is going to be July 31st, August 1st and 2nd. Moon's out, fangs out. So beware. Beware the vampire. Have your crosses ready. We got some religious folks that will be at the con. And I say we, sometimes it's actually Chris and Jen's Paracon, but I'm the one that talked Chris into it. And Chris says all the hell he's going through is all my fault. So, yeah, I try to sell tickets to it. I will be podcasting the whole thing. Some of the guests will probably not want to be on live camera, so I won't be doing them specifically. But a lot of the tours, I will be podcasting live. At least the location, maybe not the star, maybe not too many of the people, but I will be podcasting the actual ghost hunting events at night. So this should be very, very interesting. But right now, we're going to talk about interesting. let's go ahead and roll my intro and get this party started finally and quit putting up with my BS. Go ahead and roll the intro. All right, I'm here. I'm your host, Lynn Dorman, the all-time host of the only one that's ever been there, host of the Southern Fried Paranormal podcast. Right now, we're going to bring out our special guest for this week, Kenny Biddle. Bring him on out.
Hey there.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. Excuse the long intro, but as I said, they're blaming me for the whole convention, so I got to kind of sell it. And
Yeah,
you may go ahead.
Oh, I hear you. I understand. Yeah, you're doing the conference and you got to promote it, so I get it.
That's it. And you may have seen in the intro. I told you earlier we were talking just before the show started that I live in Arkansas. But if you saw my intro, there's a lot of Chicago in there. I lived in Chicago for 14 and a half years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm originally from actually Columbus, Georgia.
Okay.
But I lived in Chicago for 14 and a half years, and I've now lived in Arkansas for 10.
Cool. Very cool.
So why don't we you go ahead and tell people about yourself. What have you been doing?
Well, I never stop running. I'm always busy. So I am for anyone that doesn't know, I'm the chief investigator for the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry. My full-time day job is investigating claims of the paranormal, which includes ghosts and demons and religious mysteries, monsters, UFOs, whatever. Anything that's fringe is up for grabs. And I use this opportunity to investigate and learn and teach the public. I try to educate through workshops and lectures and video series myself, the science behind a lot of these claims. And I'm not looking to prove or disprove. I'm looking for the truth. That's the goal of investigation. And that's my philosophy. You should go in neutral. You should really leave your beliefs at home and investigate the case, not try to prove one way or the other. So that's my philosophy, and I go in it, and it's fun. It's fun. I get to learn a lot. Like I said, this is my full-time job. So in addition to investigating locations, doing the field work, I do a lot of research, I do lectures, I do a lot of interviews, but I also take care of things behind the scenes. I work on several projects for our organization. We're a worldwide organization, so we have chapters all over the world that look to us and send us information. We also do a $500,000 paranormal challenge for anyone that claims to have some kind of supernatural abilities or superpowers. like telepathy or telekinesis or anything like that, and we test them under scientific conditions. And if they pass 2 tests, they can win $500,000. But so far, no one has done that. So that's a little bit about me. If you want to know more, feel free to ask.
All right. Where can people reach you on the internet? You got a website?
Pretty much anywhere. I mean, most of my work is on skepticalinquirer.org. So if you go there and you can just type in my name in the search bar and my authors page will come up. I have like 110 or so articles and videos up there now. I've done a Friday night show called the Skeptical Help Bar, which is an educational show. It's where people can ask questions, and we discuss we discuss paranormal topics through the eyes of skepticism, science, and critical thinking. And it's a fun place because we drink. As you mentioned, I do like rum. I am very partial to rum. So I do partake in it every Friday night, and we have fun. We have a great community. It's a lot of questions, a lot of answers, a lot of discussions, conversations, and it's a lot of fun. So if you just Google my name, Kenny Biddle, my work will come up. You'll find it. It's not hard. I'm pretty much everywhere. So,
by the way, rum is a very popular drink in New Orleans. You ever been there?
I have not yet. It's on my bucket list. I really, really want to get there, but I just haven't had time yet.
You ought to try to come down July 31st.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see how we have a big conference in June 11th to 14th is SciCon, which is our big science conference, and it's happening here in Buffalo, New York. Excuse me. And that's usually about a year and a half of planning. So once that's over, then we get a little break. But yeah, so that'll be over. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. Unfortunately I took some time where I went to Kansas. I went to Atchison, Kansas, and I investigated 2 places down there for a weekend with some other YouTubers, and I got backed up on my work. So I have about 25 projects on my whiteboard that
wow.
That's ones that are in various stages of completion. That's not even the ones that I want to get to. But yeah, 25 projects about, yeah, that was the last number.
Wow.
Yeah, that's article.
That's on your desk.
Yeah, it is. And each one is a big project. The videos that I put out, so I either write articles for Skeptical Inquirer magazine, or I produce videos for a series called Ghosts in the Machine. And that's also for my company, the Center for Inquiry, which is my parent company. And I'll tell you, like, an article doesn't take a day to write. An article for me is weeks of work. Videos, same thing, weeks easily. Oh, thank you, Christy. That's so nice of you. I appreciate that. But yeah, weeks and weeks. For example, one of the places that I went to in Kansas, that was February 5th. I was there, and I'm about halfway through the video right now. So we're talking about a month ago, and I'm still trying to get it finished and get it out. So a lot of work, and that's mostly because I'm very detail oriented. I want to make sure I get all the facts straight. I want to make sure that anything that I say, whether it's for or against claims that are out there, has documentation. I want to make sure I have some kind of records. I want to have newspaper articles or documents, census records or newspaper articles from the time. I want to have ownership papers. I want to have everything well referenced. So that's why it takes so long to get anything out. Christy, where are you, Christy? When you go U.S., I've got mates. Mates, are you from Australia? Wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I think she is from down under.
Okay, that's my guess. I'm curious. I'm curious if she is or not.
She'll correct us in a few seconds.
Mm.
She brings the thunder from down under.
Yes, she is. Okay. I have two friends that I talk to quite often, and they are the only ones that call me mate. And
Mhm.
they also make fun of me because I say buddy all the time. I was like, "What's up, buddy?" You know, like you got a minute, buddy, something like that. And they laugh at me because they think it's funny, but they call me mate. So that's why. Awesome, very cool, Christy.
A couple of things I learned about the Australians several years ago. You don't want to get in a fight with them. You might want to think 3 or 4 times before you even arm wrestle the women. And no drinking contest with them. Just forget that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they'll drink you under the table.
I'd like to get over one of my bucket list items to get over to Australia and explore.
I think that's outside of my bucket. I'll probably never get down there.
I think it would be fun. It would be interesting, and the nice thing, what I really like about doing this kind of stuff, like streaming weekly, doing a weekly show, is that we've built a community. So every week we get together with about 100 people, and everyone watches. We have fun. Like I said, we drink during the show. People ask questions. We talk about it. And many of the shows, I offer them to come on. Like I'll put the link to join in the chat, and somebody can come on and ask a question face to face. And I think that's really great. But the ultimate, I don't know what you would call it. The ultimate like thrill is when I get to travel to a location and meet some of the people that watch the show. And that's awesome. I love doing that. That's so much fun because, you know, you get to hang out with the people. And some of the people have been watching the show for years, and we've talked. We talk like through instant messenger, or we've done this virtual face to virtual face kind of thing, but never met in person. So it's kind of a weird thing, the modern age, where you've known someone and you've been friends with them for like a decade, but you've never met them. So it's extra special when we finally do meet in person and we can hang out, you know, have a beer or two, a little rum, and then just have some fun. So always love that.
Gwen and I have yet to meet face to face. I've never met Luciana face to face.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow.
The first time I'll meet them face to face will be in New Orleans.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. I'm so happy that you're going to get to do that. That's great.
Oh, and by the way, look up John Lafitte's Blacksmith Shop Bar. They have a special drink, and it's pronounced D-R-A-N-K, drink, not a drink. Don't go in there and ask for a drink. You want a drink. You want a purple drink.
Purple drink.
They have it in you remember the old 7-Elevens with the icing machines, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, they've got a couple of those behind the bar. And they serve it up like they do an icy, and it looks like a purple icy.
Oh wow.
Except it's mostly rum.
Oh, I love it. Sold. I'll take 2 of them to start, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Well, if you try to drink more than that, if you try to that third one, you're probably going to meet the floor because there's a lot of rum in that thing.
I don't know. I make my drinks pretty heavy. That's why I drink at home. I don't drink at the bar anymore because it's too expensive. So yeah, I usually, like when I fill a cup like this, it's usually about like that much rum mixed with tea, and then that keeps me nice and buzzed throughout the day.
There's also something called a hand grenade.
Oh.
It's served in a green thing. You can see my head about as tall as my head is, from my chin down to the top of my head. It's got a World War II grenade, pineapple grenade shape at the bottom.
Okay.
And you got the tube coming up. You got the lip at the very top. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, don't drink with Australians. But you know, you can have open carry in New Orleans.
Okay.
The bars open up early in the morning, so you can go get your beignets and drink your coffee, and then about 9 o'clock you can walk over to the bar, and they usually have just a door opening up to the street during the day, and you don't have to go in the bar. You just walk up to the door, and they serve a very limited menu. But if you want a hand grenade, they'll have the advertisement there. You walk up, give me a hand grenade, and that's about 3/4 rum.
That's awesome. Yes.
So you walk down the street 9, 10 o'clock in the morning and drink your hand grenade, and it says green, straight out of there, just walking down the street.
That's great. We're trying to, like, we our yearly conference that I mentioned. We're trying to get it back to like years and years ago, where they go to a different location, like they bounce back between West Coast, East Coast, Midwest. And one of the areas that they went to many, many, many years ago, long before me, was New Orleans. And we're trying to get that to happen within the next 2 or 3 years to go back there. And if that happens, that's even better, because then I get to go there on the company dime.
Exactly.
And you get a per diem, which all goes to drinks.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question here about your background. What is all of this we're looking at behind you?
Oh, that background. So this is my fortress of nerddom. I am a huge comic book fan. I love sci-fi and fantasy and a little bit of horror and stuff like that. So most of the stuff, I know, most of the stuff here is like on the back wall. That is mostly Superman and Star Wars. There's also a lot of mixed stuff like Ghostbusters. There's a little bit like if you grew up in the 80s like I did, they had the Superpowers collection, and the Justice Hall, or the Hall of Justice, is right there.
Oh,
That's
wow.
And then like I have a Captain Morgan and the Kraken shelf. So a shelf dedicated to rum, because I have to. What else I got? I got pop figures. I got all kinds of different stuff. Of course, I got my Thor's hammer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan, big fan.
No, you're also worthy. You can pick it up.
I can pick up both of them. I'm pretty good. Actually, funny story is this is the Master Replica one, and it does have, let me see here, it does have a switch. It lights up along the side, and then you're supposed to say, I am worthy, and let go of a button, and it glows. I can never get it to do it. My wife comes over and says it once, and it glows for her, like she all the time. So turn this off now. There we go. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff back here. I've been collecting for the last like 30 years, and I'm very particular. I mean, like I'm surrounded by. I have a whole bunch of like Legos surrounding me up on my monitors.
That was Wolverine, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I have the classic suit, and then I have Old Man Logan.
Okay.
So, and then I have like Deadpool. I have all the Avengers. I have the Justice League on the other side. But I love toys. I never really grew up, because I think you shouldn't have to if you don't want to. Being an adult, I can adult when I have to. And when I need to, when I need to work on the house, when I need to pay the bills, when I need to go to work, when I need to school somebody in something, yeah, I can adult. But otherwise, I never grew up. I'm still a kid inside. I still feel like a kid. So I like to play with my toys.
There you go. There you go.
I even have lightsabers all over the place.
There you go.
So it's always funny too, because when I talk about this kind of stuff, it's usually in shows where people already have this impression, because it's like, oh, you're having a skeptic on, and they have this idea that skeptics are evil and cynical and just a-holes, like just they don't like me because I'm labeled a skeptic. But then they find out that I'm just a big kid, and I like to play. I can be serious, but I like to play, and I like to make sure when I work, I want to make sure I get the right information. And so I ask a lot of questions, and sometimes that comes off as confrontational. Sometimes it comes off as aggressive. It's not really. I'm asking questions because I want to know. And I think that's a big misconception with a lot of people when it comes to skeptics. But yeah, this is all fun stuff. Of course, I have a couple of Raggedy Ann dolls. I mean, I don't buy into the Annabelle thing, but I have a whole bunch of different variations,
Aha.
like that one. And then the little one here, but I have a whole bunch of these, the large size ones, the full size big ones, and all sizes. And they are the real ones. And I don't know if you know this, there's a certain way to tell if you actually have a real official Raggedy Ann and Andy doll. Raggedy Ann has the heart embroidered on her chest. So you actually have to look under the clothing, and if there's an embroidered heart, that's an official Raggedy Ann doll. If it doesn't have it, it's a knockoff.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, personally, just a personal opinion here, I've always enjoyed investigating with a skeptic. I've always thought a skeptic is a good thing to have on your team.
I agree.
Like having a psychic is a good thing to have on your team.
That I would probably disagree with. I mean, yeah, I would disagree with that. But I think as long as it depends on what I guess the person that claims to be a skeptic, are they really skeptical? Because there really aren't, like, I don't skeptic things. Like people call me a skeptic, but I don't actually go out and skeptic something, like I investigate. I take a skeptical approach, which means I ask a lot of questions. I want to look at the details. I want to fact check things myself. And unfortunately, I think there's, and I'm not saying that's for everyone, but I think there's a lot of people in this community that say, well, yeah, I'm a pretty big skeptic. But then the next line is like, I believe this. And you ask them, well, did you question it? Did you fact check it? Did you really check into the information? And they're like, well, not really. Well, then you're not being skeptical. You can say, I'm not sure about that. But if you flip 2 minutes later and you're like, oh yeah, I believe everything without any evidence, you're not a skeptic. You're not being skeptical. You are just accepting things you're accepting things at face value. And I think that's always a problem. At least from my perspective. I like to fact check things. I like to make sure that if you give me information, and it's not because it's you giving me information, you can ask my wife. I question her all the time, like all the time. And that's dangerous. And that's dangerous. You don't question your wife. But she'll say something like, oh, I heard, this new medical treatment came out. I'm like, yeah, who'd you hear that from? And if she doesn't know the answer, she's like, oh, whatever. I don't know. I'm like, all right, so let's look it up. Let's look into it and see if it's legit, because a lot of these new medical treatments are not legit. And you got to be careful. From my point of view, I don't want people wasting their money on treatments that don't work when they could be spending that time getting treatments that do work and making their quality of life better. So that's a very serious issue with me. And I want to make sure that people understand it and they have their options. They know what to look for, what to watch out for. So there is a lot with that. And that's why I can appear somewhat aggressive. I say somewhat because I want to make it seem like I'm nicer than I am. But it can appear aggressive because I care about the public. I care about people making sure they get the best medicine, the best medical care, or that they're not taken in by con artists, that just want their money. Be careful with your money, especially nowadays. You know, like we're so tight. Everything's so expensive. You can't afford to waste money. So make sure you understand what you're buying into. So, and in case you haven't noticed, I talk a lot. So feel free to shut me up or cut me off if you want to ask something.
I'm just letting you go with the flow. Because you are my guest, so I appreciate a good talker as a guest.
I do too. Every time I have someone guest on the show, it's like a relief, isn't it? Because like they take over, and you can just ask one question and then sit back.
Yeah, sit back and relax.
Right. You can relax and just let them take it away, which is great. So yeah, I mean, let me see. I am not a skeptic, but I do like to debunk things before I can believe it's true. So that's taking a skeptical approach, Marla. Because if you hear a claim, if someone makes a claim about something and tells you a story, if you don't accept it right away, which is good, you shouldn't accept things blindly. You should ask questions and say, hey, you know, how do we know this? Like, how do we know this certain person haunts this location? And if you fact check it, if you start researching it, you're taking a skeptical approach to it, which is healthy skepticism, because you want to know. There's been so many places that I've been asked to investigate, and in the course of investigating it and researching it, I'm told that like person A, B, and C died in the house, so they're likely the ones that are haunting it. And in the research, you find out that person A, B, and C never lived at the house, didn't die in the house, or never had anything to do with the house. So it's really important to do that background research.
Yes.
So I applaud you, Marla, for just not taking things at face value. Yeah, make sure that you look into the stuff before you accept it. So that's awesome. Good attitude.
That's one of the bad things about New Orleans. When you go on the public tours, the walking tours, the bus tours, especially the walking tours, they are paid to entertain.
Right.
And that's how they approach it, and that's how they throw it out there. And sometimes you have people locals on the sidewalk. Oh, right. That's not true. He's lying or she's lying, because they will exaggerate.
Yes. Yeah.
On those walking tours.
They are, in my experience, most of the tour guides are just that. They are guides. They're not investigators. They really don't have much to do with it. I always ask questions. I'm that guy during the tour that they tell the story, and my hand is up right away after they stop talking, and I push to the front to talk to the guide as we're walking to the next location, because I want to know, like, when did this story come about? You know, you mentioned the newspaper it was in. Do you know what newspaper it was? Because I'd like to look it up. This and that. Mm-hmm. So I'm constantly asking questions. And for the most part, I would say more than half the tour guides that I've talked to literally tell me I'm just reading the script. They've never looked into it. They don't have the background. They're like, I was handed a script. I memorized it. That's what I'm reciting. That's it. So I get it. It's a job. It's a side gig. So I understand that. But it's just like the curiosity in me gets lit, you know, like I'm like, oh, wow, that's a cool story. You know, that's a really cool story. It's fascinating. It has a fantastic kind of plot to it, which doesn't seem like reality, but it'd be cool if it was. So now I'm interested. So I'll take notes, and that'll go on that whiteboard that I have, and it'll be like Project 26 or Project 27, you know, like, because I want to research it. I can't tell you how many. I must have about 100 plus locations that I've written down, because people have either sent it to me or I've done tours where I've written it in my notebook. Like, oh, I got to look into this. I got to research this later. Remember this place. And that piece of paper goes into a file that I have in my file cabinets. Because I still have like this physical file cabinets. And it goes into that file of things to investigate. And that's if I ever run out of stuff, like I go right to that file and say, all right, what's next? What haven't I investigated? And that keeps me going. So I don't research.
That's what I like about Chris and Jen down in New Orleans. They came up as paranormal investigators, and when they give you the name of a spirit that they have contact with at a location, it's because they've been there and they heard the spirit gave them that name.
So like
It's
psychically,
or no, they through a device.
Okay.
Some kind of contact, either yes, no through a meter, or actually with a device that picks up voices.
Okay. So I'm not a big fan of the devices, and we can talk about it. You can ask me any questions you want. I'm not a fan of the devices because, for one, the devices aren't actually made for this hobby. They're not designed for this. They're designed for other things, and they're adopted or appropriated from the other fields where they're designed for. And for the most part, when they're used in ghost hunting, nobody uses controls. Nobody controls the environment. So, say for instance, like a K2 meter or a REM pod, both those devices can be triggered by a walkie-talkie, a two-way radio, from a good 30 to 40 feet away.
A cell phone.
A cell phone, if you're close by, you have to be close for it. But yeah, they can be triggered by this. So if there's no controls over that, so if you don't have the device in a Faraday box to block out those radio frequencies, because if we know what affects that device, if we know a radio frequency can affect that device, we need to guard against it. Because if it goes off, there is absolutely no way that you can tell the difference. You can't differentiate between, was that a radio frequency or was it possibly a ghost? And the thing is, between those two choices, we have evidence to support the idea that radio frequencies will make the device go off. But despite what most people think, we don't have valid scientific evidence to support the idea that ghosts, if they exist, will make that device go off. So that's one of my big problems with using gadgets, ghost hunting gadgets, stuff like that. If there's no controls over it, for me, the data is invalid. And I always encourage people, like, what can make that go off? Like, outside of what you think a ghost is, like, what can make that go off? Now, what are you doing to make sure that what can make it go off doesn't affect it? And I think we need to ask ourselves those questions more and more as they're using gadgets, because I think that will help the community grow. Because if you're getting better quality data coming in, maybe the more serious people, like the academics, will start looking at you a little bit more seriously. But if you're not, this is unfortunately, and I don't mean to insult anyone, but people will probably get insulted, and I don't mean it, but ghost hunting is pretty much a cookie cutter hobby. Everybody does pretty much the same thing they see on TV, and they don't think about the results. They don't think about the process. They don't think about, should I do this different? It's all the same thing. And I mean, I was a ghost hunter back in the 90s, and I don't see any change. There's been no progress since the mid 90s to now on how people ghost hunt. There's been no progress at all. And I think that's bad. That makes it stale. And it's hard to take it seriously. I mean, I still do, because people do claim that houses are haunted or mansions are haunted, and, you know, other people get possessed or demonic stuff. I still haven't seen a demon yet. Still waiting. But I go to these locations in order to investigate the claims. And for the most part, 90% or more, there's logical explanations for them. And for the rest of it, there's just not enough information. So I can't test something if I don't have all the information about what happened.
Right.
So, whew.
But a couple of posts ago, Gwen, if you want to bring it back, Krista Ritchell said electricity in the air, power poles, etc. About 4 posts from the bottom. She is absolutely correct because a K2 or a male, you get under power lines, especially high power lines, or if you're anywhere close to a transformer, will make make any a K2 a male, whatever, a tri-field, whatever you got, is going to pick up that transformer.
So yeah, that's because, well, the mel meter is I mean, it's just an EMF meter and then a temperature device in one. It's just, it's a standard tool that they just combined. So EMF meters, either the one in the mel meter or the one in the K2, they are both single axis meters. So they only read on one axis at a time, and you have X, Y, and Z and they're only reading the magnetic field. Don't let the name fool you. Because they're called electromagnetic field meters, but they're not reading the electric field. It's not capable of doing that. It can only measure the magnetic field caused by power flow.
Right.
So yeah, when you have power flowing through the power lines, yes, it's going to pick it up.
Yes.
Same way as in your house wiring, same way in any of the electronic devices that you have. Old homes that have the original wiring can set off K2 and cause people.
Yeah, in an older home, if the power is on, there's leakage. Older wires leak. Older breaker boxes leak. Especially a fuse box is bound to leak.
Well, that's not even the issue with like K2 meters or any of these EMF meters. They're not reading any kind of shorts or leakage like that. I mean,
they're reading the flow.
They're reading the magnetic field that comes off of that. So yeah, it's still going to be in all the wiring, even new wiring. You're shielded by more interference by like radio frequency and other wires close by, but it's not shielding the magnetic field. You're still going to get that. As for feeling stuff, I'm not sure exactly what that refers to, but it takes a lot. Like the idea or the concept of EMF affecting people. There's the electromagnetic sensitivity disorder, which is an unrecognized disorder because there are no standard symptoms or causes for it. It's more of a psychosomatic issue that goes on. But for people feeling things or hallucinations and stuff, now we look at the work of Dr. Persinger when he was doing like the things with the God helmet. But that was specific power, that was specific cycles on specific frequencies that rotated into they had solenoids in a motorcycle helmet, and they would cycle them on and off in specific patterns at specific frequencies, which would induce hallucinations. So people just laying next to your alarm clock, it's not going to feel that. They're not going to feel anything from that. And if they do, it's most likely priming. So yeah, it might be an issue with that belief being there, and that belief is causing a placebo effect with you, and you're conditioned to that response. So because I mean, if you think about it, like an alarm clock puts out a certain magnetic field, but every day your phone, your computer, the monitors that are in front of us, anything, when you charge your phone, your refrigerator puts out a huge magnetic field when it powers up. Huge. I mean that spikes your electrical system. So you're going to have an immediate spike, and then it'll dip because it goes up and then comes back down and then levels out. But yeah, that your AC unit, any generator, microwave, yeah, all that stuff is going. If you have just a power strip or an extension cord out, there's a magnetic field coming from that. So a lot of this stuff is unfortunately, and it's hard to accept. I understand, like there are some people that truly believe that they have this condition, but don't realize that the alleged cause of that condition is surrounding them all day, 24/7. And it's only specific things. Or like me, your phone will react to your TV when it's about to ring. I've never had that happen.
I have not had that happen.
Yeah, I've never had that happen. And I mean, I'm a phoneaholic. I have my phone with me all the time. My phone is always with me. It's my alarm clock, so I take it to bed and it's on the table right next to me. It wakes me up. I take it with me into the shower. Not in the shower, but
wow.
I just pick it up. It's routine. I pick it up. I go into the bathroom. I put it down on the counter. I take a shower. I come out. I pick it up. I go to I make myself breakfast and I check my emails. So it's with me all day. I sit and watch TV and I have it next to me. So I'm watching my big screen TV and I'm always on my phone doing both. So I've never. That's interesting. That's interesting. I'd like to know where that came from because I've never had my phone react. Let me back up because that's not entirely true. My phone hasn't reacted the way that was in that comment. My phone reacts every time I go onto YouTube. It wants to connect to my TV. So it wants to cast whatever I'm watching on YouTube on my phone. It wants to cast that to my TV. And it's always asking me. And I keep saying, no, stop asking me. No.
Well, I'm on my laptop and I've got, you look behind me, there's a desktop monitor right there, a desktop behind me, got another laptop over here. So I use a pad too.
Right.
So I don't use my phone for much. I go out, you got to go to town once in a while. I never carry my phone with me. I make sure the wife has her phone in case we have a flat tire or a car wreck or whatever.
Right.
But most of the time I do not have my phone with me. So I'm the opposite from you. It's hard to catch me with my phone.
Okay.
Now when I'm in an investigation, of course, I don't get phone calls. So when somebody calls me, you're not going to get me usually. You just leave a message. I'll get back with you when I pick up the phone. Oh, I got a message. But during investigation, I'll either leave it in the, where the headquarters is, where we're set up most of the time, or I turn it off.
Right. I mean, I do that too. When I go out with friends, I try to keep my phone away because I'm enjoying my friends. I'm enjoying this time that we have together because it's not often. I guess my phone has become more of a tool than a phone because I rarely, if ever, call anyone. I really don't, but I use it for like when I go to investigations or any kind of location and I'm filming, I'm always filming on my phone. My phone is my camera. So I'm constantly filming. I'm taking notes because instead of, I don't ever always get to carry a recorder with me, like an audio recorder. So I'm usually taking video with this, filming something and taking notes saying like, okay, this stairway is unlevel. I had a spirit level on it. Everything's off. It's not level at all. Or this window has a 1/2 inch gap between the upper and lower window, and I'll film it all so I have all these notes for later. When I'm doing any kind of commentary, I'm filming it with my phone. So it's more of a tool because I even use it for like, there's a vibration sensor on it. It uses the accelerometer inside the phone. And so I usually lay it on the floor because you have like, there's always a claim about like cat balls, which I'm going to give the disclaimer. I hate cat balls. I hate them. I absolutely hate them. I think it's just the most useless tool that has ever graced this community.
I feel sorry for the cats.
I knew you were going to go that way. But there's so many, like those are cheap toys. Those are really cheap toys. And I did an article about that a couple of years ago when they first entered the scene, because there were a lot of claims made when they were being sold. And I busted those claims. I actually contacted the manufacturer and talked to them, and they They straight up said, no, the person selling these with all these upgrades, lying, never happened. But they react to the very slightest vibration, and it's imperceptible to us. If we're sitting on the floor or at a table, you don't feel the kind of vibrations that this thing will react to. So you have a tool. It's an actual scientific tool. It's an app on here that measures vibrations like that, and it's a really good tool. I love it. It's let me see. I'm going to bring it up here for you so that you can see it. Let me see. Sensor, continue app. So, oh, wait. Cancel. So this app has an accelerometer, geomagnetic field, orientation, gyroscope, and it takes measurements constantly. So this is the one that I'm always using because it has a graph on it. So anytime, if I lay this on the floor that I suspect has vibrations going through it and it picks it up, you can see the graph change when I'm tapping it.
Mm-hmm. Sure can.
I'll try to let it stabilize a little bit, but even little taps, you can see little spikes going off, and it'll pick up the slightest vibrations and give you all the hard data. And that's what I need, to show like, hey, if you step on this floor down the end of the hallway, I can show you that at the other end of the hallway, it's picking it up. We can feel the vibrations. And I think that's the kind of investigation that investigators need to do, to be honest, because that's, I don't like assuming, there's too many times where people are like, well, that cat ball lit up down the other end of the hallway and there's no way it could pick me up down here. Or that doll that we set up standing against the wall, it fell over by itself. So there's no way the vibration from me could make that happen. And that's why I put that phone down and I put the sensor on and we record all the hard data. And I can show them like, look, there were spikes. This is exactly when it fell. Or this is exactly when that light lit up. It was vibrations. It was simple vibrations. Nothing supernatural. It was basic physics. So, yeah, again, I'm talking too much. I'm sorry.
But one example we had today with 2 aftershocks, an earthquake in northwest Louisiana, 4.5.
Today?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
I was outside working, so I did not feel it.
Okay.
But I'd be willing to bet you that if you'd had a nice flat table sitting on the ground or sitting on your house and had a cat ball sitting there, it would have gone off.
Oh, absolutely.
I wouldn't have felt it, but the cat ball would have gone off.
Yeah, I have a bunch of them. Like I said, when it first came out, I purchased them, and then I purchased the same product from the manufacturer instead of the ghost hunter that was selling it, because that was Cody Desmond's. He was selling them first to ghost hunters as a light activated vibration sphere, and he was selling them for like $12, but you could get them directly from the manufacturer for $3, and it was big difference. And it was the same thing. I mean, when I say it's the same thing, I found his purchase order from the company. That's why I spoke to the company, because I had his purchase order. I found it. So it was like, okay, great. I know exactly what he purchased. These are just cat toys. That's all they are. There's nothing special about them. And I mean, the sensor in there, the sensor it uses, it's called a tilt sensor. So it's basically 2 metal plates with a small metal ball that's inside of it. And I mean, the ball is probably half the size of a BB for a BB gun. If that moves a fraction of a millimeter, it lights up. And the sensor itself, guess how much it costs to make?
Pennies.
2 pennies, 2 cents to make. So this is not a highly advanced ghost
No.
hunting tool. It is a cheap toy that's
Mhm.
mass produced that can unfortunately easily fool anyone that believes that it communicates with ghosts.
Right.
And that's and again, I'm not trying to insult people. I'm pretty blunt with how I speak. I was born and raised in Philly, so I say what I think, and I don't mean to be mean. I just don't like when people waste their money. That's all.
Right.
I just want to try and save people money and time. So
Well, let me ask you, put your skeptic hat on for a second.
let me see. All right, I'll put my Sith hood on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'd like to tell you about 2 instances that I had using the same piece of equipment.
Okay.
2 way different locations. One was south of Chicago. The other one was here in Arkansas, a little bit south of here.
Okay.
So miles apart. And I was hearing voices over this device. One, I heard a male voice, and it said, "She's wearing a blonde hat." And he was kind of laughing at the end of it. A girl came in and said, "What? She's what?" He said, "She's wearing a blonde hat." And then I heard a male and female voice laughing, and then it cut off.
So what was the device?
Echo Vox.
Echo Box. Echo Box.
Mm-hmm.
So all right.
And there was only 3 people within a quarter of a mile, and we did not say that.
This is a ghost app or a phone app.
Yeah, I use a pad, but it is a pretty big program for an app.
All right. So I mean, a big problem with apps because they're programmable. Most of them, if they don't outright claim that they use the microphone, most of them do. And if they're playing voices, like what kind of word bank does it have? Like I'm looking it up right now just to make sure. Let me see. Generates a bed of sound using randomized phonetic audio, reverse audio, real-time echo, reverb. See, like all this stuff that I'm reading that it does, this is just describing manipulation of data. And that's a bad thing. If you're getting data, you need the raw data. This is manipulating all the data before it gets to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big problem. Let me see here. I'm trying to see if it has a disclaimer for entertainment use. Because a lot of these do say it. Let's see. All right. All-in-one echo-based real-time recording system. Classic edition is the version, blah, blah, blah. The version has been featured around the... Okay. It doesn't tell me anything about it. I'm looking on the Google Play and it doesn't tell me anything about what it does. $15? Did you pay $15 for this? Why? You call me next time. Don't buy until you call me.
Well, the relevance was the girl that was with us. There was 2 guys and a gal. She was wearing a blonde wig.
Okay.
And we were by a house where people lived in it in the late 1700s and early 1800s.
Okay.
And where that house was actually mid 1700s. Back then, there was the wig name, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here. The word wig was not in the English language yet. They called men and women wore powdered wigs. They called them hats.
Let's see. Originate.
And they were laughing at her long blonde wig.
So the term wig originated around 1675.
Mm-hmm.
Per wig, derived from a French word. So, and what time frame are we talking about?
1700s in the United States. Well, in the future United States.
So the term was in use.
But was it in use in Europe? Was it popular
It
here?
came from France. It originated in France.
And so, how long did it take before it got here?
Let's see, 1600s, 1670s. Well, the term is 17th century. Use covers originate in U.S. French word. Let's see. Let me change this. United States. Thinking. Let's see. In English language around 1670s.
Mm-hmm.
Which then
so there was some use of the word wig.
Yeah.
But these people called it a hat.
So the issue, I guess, is still that this is a phone app, and
Mhm.
what is it like? Do you have a recording of this?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have it available on computers on my desktop.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I didn't expect you to whip it out.
Mhm.
It's all right. But the I guess the context and why is it listening to you? Like if somebody was wearing a wig, I would assume, and again, I'm assuming that somebody had mentioned it. So if the microphone was active on this app, it could have heard that, which is why it picked up.
But neither one of us mentioned the fact she was wearing a wig, even though she obviously was. I mean, if a girl's wearing a wig, she may be doing chemotherapy.
Okay.
She may be naturally bald.
Right.
Have one of those diseases like Jada Pinkett has. I forget the name of it.
Yeah.
Where the hair falls out, like chemotherapy. So I see somebody wearing a wig. I just don't say anything.
Right. Yeah.
And we didn't either. So it wasn't mentioned, and
So
neither was that.
Let me clarify that the way it sounded when you originally said it, it sounded like it was more like as something for fun. It was more of a joke. That's why I said that. But
Right.
yeah, I understand completely. My wife went through it, and she wore a wig for quite some time. So she had she
Right.
lost her hair going through cancer, and and she did have fun with it too. She had like an electric blue wig, which was really cool. Really, she had fun with it. She made the best out of a bad situation.
Okay, let me tell you the other circumstance.
Sure.
I was down here in Arkansas, and I was investigating the Allen House. You saw a picture of me in my intro, and I was in there, just kind of going back and forth. You got to wonder, if it's real. I'm sure you would say that. Just this, that, and the other. How you doing? In a tour walked through.
Okay.
And this one guy was wearing a baseball cap. So I looked at the app and I said, "Give me the name of the gentleman who just walked in wearing the baseball cap." Immediately, a name came through over the speaker. The guy froze, his mouth flew open, and he ran out of the house.
Okay.
I did not get a chance to ask him if that was his name, but the reaction was priceless.
Okay.
There's no way if he got the name was wrong, he would just walk on. But and I had not seen this guy. I'd only seen him for about 5 or 6 seconds when I asked him to do that.
Okay.
How did he get the name right? How did the program get the name right?
We don't know they got their name right.
True. But why did the guy react?
I don't know. You have to ask the guy.
I didn't
Like,
have time.
so I'm gonna quote one of my favorite TV shows, Reacher, and say, in an investigation, details matter. So we have to first understand that we don't know if the name was right. Second, we don't know why the guy reacted the way he did, because if he left, you didn't have time to do it. So there's not enough information. We don't have all the information to understand what's going on.
Mhm.
The third thing I would say would be, I would like to hear the full recording of that, because and I'm gonna describe, I'm gonna explain myself. I don't want you to get mad at me. All right. I can't take your word for it that you asked that question and it was answered immediately when that guy walked in. All right, because I don't know you.
Right.
We just met tonight. I don't know you. You seem like a nice person, but even Jeffrey Dahmer was a nice person to his neighbors. So I don't take any. Not that you're a serial killer or anything like that. It's just, my point is, I trust no one, and it's not because people are not trustworthy or people are mean. It's because people make mistakes. People misremember. So it could have seemed, the events of that night could have seemed very close together to you, and they may have been. I don't know, but they also may not have been. And that's why we need a full recording to listen to it and see, like, did it happen in that time frame or on that timeline? And that's why fact checking is so important, and double checking, and making sure what people tell us is accurate. It's not that you're being dishonest. It's not that you're lying or purposely trying to mislead me. It's, I don't know if you're remembering it accurately, because again, I don't know you. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how good your memory is, but you could be, but you might not be. So we have to verify that. And that goes for everything. I mean, again, I would do that to my own wife. I won't say that out loud to her, but I will do that.
I cannot do that to my wife. My wife is a former power lifter, born and raised on the south side of Chicago.
Yeah. I would be careful with what you say too.
Let me tell you about one other incident. Well,
Sure.
actually, a couple that's all related. With using EchoBox, the guy who showed me the program, he would sit there, and it's kind of annoying, actually. He would hold up something. What color is this? And he would get the correct color.
Okay.
Immediately said to him, if it's yellow, if it's red. I was doing this kind of thing, and some people walked in, and okay, let me get, everybody wants to step in and do something. He said, pointed to his girlfriend and said, what color bra is she wearing? And this is south of Chicago in about this time of year. So she had about 3 or 4 layers on. There was no way I could see what color bra she's had on. No way I could guess. The other people with him had no idea, but he was in the room when she put it on, so he knew what color it was. We, within a few seconds, got the answer black. And she reacted. She said, that's right. He said, yeah, that's right. I watched you put it on. We had not mentioned the word black, so it was not repeating something it heard.
Okay.
But that was always freaky to me. What color shoes is that? Purple. Boy, whatever the color the object was, we would get that.
See, like that kind of stuff, again, it goes back to, I'm not going to take your word for it.
Right.
And I'm so happy that you understand where I'm coming from, because it's so hard. Sometimes I have to explain that so much. So I appreciate that you understand where I'm coming from. So I just want to say that. But yeah, like, I can't take your word for it because I wasn't there. I wasn't present for it.
I say that about photos all the time. People say, "Look at this photo I got. Is it real or is it fake?" I said, "I wasn't there when the photo was taken."
Yeah, yeah. I can't tell you how many times like we've tested people for like superpowers, either like psychic abilities or telekinesis. Like I said, any kind of superpower that is beyond what science should be able to explain, people apply, and they come out and say, "Hey, I can do this," and they give examples, or when they retell the event that just happened. Like we test them, we have the controls in place, and I want to make it clear to everyone that the controls in place, the protocols for every test, are mutually agreed upon. So that means the person that applied to take the test agrees that everything is fair. All right. So once we take the test and then it doesn't go the way that they expect it to, we debrief, we talk about it, and we ask them, like, there's no mocking, there's no, kicking them right out. It's okay. So what do you think happened? Why do you think it didn't work this time? Because we're very curious. We want to know. And we have discussions. And when they talk about why their ability didn't work, they usually recall some event that happened during the test. And we have to tell them, like, 9 times out of 10, like, that didn't happen. Like what you said happened, like the method or the order of events, the way they describe it to explain why the power didn't work, didn't happen in that order. And they're like, "Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, it did." So we replay the video because there's always video. There's at least 4 cameras going at every test, so we can cover this and we can say, "Hey, let's look at the video," and we look at it, and it's not how they described it. So that's part of the reason why I don't take anyone's word for it. If you have an experience like that, it sounds really cool, and I would be so interested if it happened like that. But I would want some kind of video demonstrating
Right.
it, and then I can look at that and go, "Oh, all right, well that's pretty cool." I mean, I'd still have questions, but like it would still be cool and worth looking into. All right, cool.
But sometime we'll have to get you back on the show when we got more time, because I don't have anything charged up right now.
No
Well,
worries.
you got to charge the speaker. I got to charge. I use a pad that's not connected to a phone, because you can fake that where the phone picks up a phone signal. If it's this pad that's never been connected to any kind of phone service, never been connected to the internet.
Right.
It's just on itself. On all it is Bluetooth to one speaker.
I'll tell you, there is. I work with video editing. I've been doing that for years. There are so many ways, both practical and digital, to manipulate almost anything. It's so many ways, and usually I work with a lot of magicians, and the concept of philosophy that I've learned from them is that every trick that you do, so every time I recreate something that I see, like somebody sends me a video and say, "Hey, this is paranormal," and I can recreate it under the same conditions, I always try to get at least 2 methods of recreating it under the same conditions, same method, sometimes practical and then a digital one, because I don't know what they're doing. And to say, "Look, I can recreate it. Can you show me? Can you offer any data that refutes this? That says, you didn't manipulate it. Let's look at the raw data." And I'm always happy to. I'm happy to look at the raw data. I'm happy to work with you if you're sincere about it. I'm definitely there for you. Like because I want this to be true. I want the afterlife to be true. I'll tell you straight up. I do not have, nor do I hold a belief in the afterlife. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in demons. I want them to be real because I think demons can party. So I'm all about that. But I haven't seen evidence that would justify that belief. I know there's a lot of pseudoscience out there. There's a lot of misunderstanding. There's a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of misinformation that goes around, and it fuels these beliefs. And if the beliefs are cool with you, and that's cool. I mean, I'm not going to mock your beliefs. If you promote them publicly, I consider them open to criticism. I'm not going to mock you unless you're Zach Baggins. I have a beef with him. But otherwise, I don't want to mock you. I want to have a conversation with you and maybe work together to figure out why you believe that, why I don't believe something. You know, we can talk about anything. But in the end, it's all about the data. So if you're going to present something to me, you got to have the hard data. You can't just come to me with a story, because
Right.
I'm gonna say the routine, like, cool story, bro, but that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why we could do another show some other time where we could try that and you could test it out to you just live in front of everybody.
Sure. I'm always up for that. Always up for testing.
Of course, there's other things. I like males because they have a temperature gauge, a very fast moving one. But
So
you can move it over a foot, and if the temperature, it picks up a temperature difference.
So I use in one of my previous lives, one of my previous employments, I was a engineer, X-ray engineer for Siemens. So I traveled around to hospitals in Delaware, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, and I fixed all the X-ray machines in the area. And a lot of the parts came with industrial grade digital thermometers. So they were throwaway ones where it was in the box with the part because you had to maintain a certain temperature, and then you didn't send it back. So I have a few of them that I keep, and I put those out to make sure that I'm getting the most accurate temperature in any room, if that's the claim. You know, like I don't really do it unless there's a claim about it, like a recent location. And tell me if I'm going over. I don't want to go over your time here. But
Gwen will say something. I really don't have a set time, much to Gwen's chagrin.
Okay, so one of the locations I just went to had this claim of around midnight on certain nights that the temperature would drop 15 degrees, like suddenly 15 degrees, so that all of a sudden you're seeing your breath frost up in front of you. And it didn't happen. I was disappointed. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. You know, but it didn't happen. But that's a claim. So I would take those. I had those temperature sensors with me and have them out. You know, let's see what happens, because I want to record that. That's hard data. But if there are no claims about it, I'll still have them in my bag, because I usually, especially if I drive anywhere, I pack everything, because I never know what I'm going to need.
Exactly.
So I keep it there, but I'll keep it in the bag in the car until it comes up and I need it. But yeah, like I try to use, I don't try to use apps so much. I mean, there's some apps that are put out by scientific organizations. So companies that actually produce scientific equipment, they produce apps that are accurate. They know how to use the internal sensors of the phone. So I'm good with that. I don't use, no offense, I don't use ghost apps because I don't trust them. But if I can get a independent device that's industrial grade, and it's from a science-based company, then yeah, I'm going to buy that. It's going to be probably 10 times as much money, but it's worth it, because I know this is the instrument that was designed for this specific purpose. It's been tested, it's been calibrated. I can send it back to get calibrated. So yeah, I'm going to use that instead of like a Melmeter, because even though a Melmeter is, so far it's been accurate with temperature, I'd rather get a good brand name scientific equipment than a Melmeter. So yeah, that's just me though.
Be truthful, we a mail meter. I've not gotten that much response on a mail meter, except once I put it in a chair, and I got a little reading. Just low. It bounced up to 4 point something, and would go down to 0, then bounce back, but it would only work in that chair.
Right.
And I immediately went to all the electricity in the room. I got 0 reading.
Right.
Everywhere,
So I wonder,
but in the chair.
I wonder if there was something was cycling. If something cycles on and off and sends a spike through the system, it would increase the magnetic field, and the meter might pick it up. But again, that meter is a single axis meter, so
Right.
you could turn that 90 degrees, and it's possible that it won't pick up anything. I've had that where I put them up to light switches that are on.
Mm-hmm.
So power's flowing and it's pegged the meter, but you turn it 90 degrees, still have it right next to it, and it doesn't pick up anything.
Exactly.
So I use tri-fuel meters if I have to. Again, unless there's a reason to actually use it, I don't bring out a piece of equipment. But if there's a reason for it, then yeah. If somebody says, like, I always get a reading in this room, then I'll bring a tri-field meter with me, with a data logger, so that I can log everything. Because again, like, I expect people to provide data, so I expect the same thing from myself. I'm not just I don't want you to take my word for it, because that would be a double standard. And I'm not doing that. I'm going to provide all the data to you, so you can see for yourself.
What do you think of ghost boxes?
I hate them. Ghost boxes are radios. They are first and foremost, they are radios. They are designed to pick up terrestrial signals. So unless you put it in a Faraday box, again, so a Faraday box blocks AM/FM radio signals if it's well constructed. Like, I have one here, not here, it's in my office, but I have a Faraday box that I built 2x4 with, I think there's like 14 or 15 layers of steel mesh around it. And that effectively blocks AM and FM signals. But you got to make sure that everything is sealed. If you have a hole for like a power cord that's like a quarter inch wide, that will allow radio signals to get in. So you got to make sure it's off, and there's no holes, anything, and you put your devices in there, and it effectively blocks those signals. And for me, that's a control. That's saying, okay, and I made it big enough. So instead of using just a Faraday bag, which you can get, that you can put a radio in, I made it big enough so that just in case ghosts are real, and I don't know if they are, if they're real, they have enough room to climb into the box.
Right.
Because I opened the lid and I said, all right, here's your chance. If you're actually here, get in the box. You can push the lid open if you get scared or claustrophobic, but get in the box. I'm going to close it up. Then you talk. And if we get voices, then I'll be impressed. And now we have something really to look at in the study. But ghost boxes itself, you have to consider that you're scanning frequencies. You're scanning FM or AM.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have the news and commercials, which includes anything from furniture to services to dates to places to names, times, all kinds of events, world events. You can have commercials that sell furniture and tools and plumbing supplies and lingerie, all of this stuff. So it's not reliable. And also, I want to say, like, when you watch someone using a spirit box, the radio is the thing that dictates the conversation. Because every time a question is asked, like, say someone says, "What's your name?" If a name doesn't come through, and something like chair comes through, or that's what somebody hears. Because again, you're scanning through the frequencies, you really don't know what you're hearing. But if somebody hears chair, suddenly the conversation changes to, what chair? Did you sit in a chair? Do you have a favorite chair? They didn't answer your question. So I don't understand why you're going away from that question. Another thing is that even if you don't ask questions, people will still pick up sounds because they're picking out what they hear, what they interpret. When I've sat and done this with people, like I pick out the commercials, I pick out the songs that I hear, and it's like, all right, well, that's a commercial. I remember that commercial. I heard that part. That's for Harbor Freight. I know what that commercial is from. That's not selling me, it's selling me tools. It's not telling me that I need to, get in my car or something like that. We have to make sure that the conversation, if you're going to have a conversation with a radio, make sure it's a coherent conversation. You don't ask questions and then don't get a response to that. You get a response, you get some other thing that has nothing to do with your question, and you just continue the conversation. That's not how a conversation works. If I ask you a question like, hey, what's your name? Normally you would tell me your name, and then you'll ask me my name, and then we start asking questions and going back and forth. I don't say, hey, what's your name? And you say, blue chair. That's not a conversation. That doesn't happen. So I don't understand why it's okay with ghost hunters to accept that as communication when you wouldn't accept that in real life. So there's my rant.
I have heard interesting things. Now, again, this is somebody else doing it.
Okay.
I kind of trust what he said, but he asked for we were investigating a Civil War site. Now, he knew the answer to the question he asked because he'd seen a presentation about the site, and the presenter who wrote a book about the location said the unit name to the group. But hours later, the investigator asked, what unit were you with? And the answer came over in the static of just a regular SP7. It gave the number of the unit that was the guard at the prison camp.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
You don't know if it's true.
Right. I don't know if that's what he actually heard. I don't know if he was influenced and primed for that. Because we have to remember, like the priming is something that's natural. Priming is something that happens anyway. When you go into a location and you get a story, you're told the ghost stories, or if you look in the history, you're primed for that specific information.
And he knew the answer. He had the number in his head of the unit.
Yeah.
So he could have heard anything, and that's what he heard.
That kind of stuff, like I try to encourage people that if they insist on using ghost boxes, which I really, really try my best to convince them not to use ghost boxes. But if they insist on using it, then I would suggest have a recording set up where you have a splitter going from the radio. Okay, so the splitter goes into the radio, into the speaker port, so that goes to a independent speaker, an outside speaker, but then the other part of that split goes to a recording device. And then you also have a microphone that also goes into that recording device so that you can record both the radio and the questions that you're asking in real time. And that gives us a good record of what's going on and when everything has happened. Because normally you don't. Maybe you get a recording that it's in the room, but it's echoey. And you don't really get good data because it's hard to understand what's going on. And then that leads people to put the text up on screen. And that's a bad thing because that's double priming, because not only are you primed for the stories, but now you're primed by the text that people put on screen of what you're supposed to hear. And I don't like that at all. But yeah, I always suggest try to record everything like that so that we have a real-time recording of it and we can listen back and really analyze it. So
That's why I like to use camcorders. You can put, with a big camera, you get like Zach Bagans uses, you get so far back, and like I say, you get an echo involved because the microphone is so far away from the action.
right.
That's why I like a camcorder, because you can sit it right there.
Get in their face. An ideal situation would be that everyone involved has a camera and microphone on them. So, like, even though it'd probably be weird looking or funny looking, I would like everyone to have a microphone and one of those cameras, like 2 cameras actually, a body cam, so you can see what they're seeing in front of them, and then a camera that's a head mounted one that looks at their face, because I want to see the reactions. I want to see what they're looking at. That would be great. I mean, it's not ideal because no one wants to wear that. I've done that. It's a pain in the ass. It's horrible. But the more data that you have, the more information you have, the better equipped you are to analyze the situation and understand what's going on and make a good conclusion. If you go in there and just walk out and all you really have is your story of like, hey, this went off, this blinked, this had an alarm, and we heard this and that. That's all you have is a story. And our memory sucks, as much as we think we remember things like a recorder, our memory sucks bad. We fill in the gaps. We fill in things with our biases and what we think should have happened rather than what did happen. And it's natural. I'm not saying it's malicious. It's just natural, and that's what we do. We try to offer information. Like if you are interviewing me, the tendency for me to give you the information I think you want is strong. Like you ask me a question, I want to give you an answer. And it's very hard if you don't have an answer. It's very hard to get accustomed to saying, I don't know, or admitting I don't know, because that looks like you're weak. You don't know what you're talking about. But in truth, telling you I don't know is one of the most honest things I can do, between us. Because if you ask me a question and I really don't know the answer, I'm not going to make shit up. So I don't know if I can curse. I'm sorry.
We have a disclaimer we run on the bottom sometimes.
Okay. All right, good. I'm not going to make things up just to.
There it is.
Oh. I made the disclaimer come up. Yay. I'm not going to make things up just to please you, just to make sure you get the answer that you want. I'm going to be honest with you and just say, I don't know. And I think that's what we all need to do when, in fact, we don't know the answer. So I think that was a long-winded answer to your question. But there you go.
Well, you said what you were, kind of a skeptic. So I was kind of questioning that and asking where you sat, and you explained it fantastically, by the way.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
And I'm not going to get mad or upset with you. You know how to tell when a Southerner, like me being a Georgian and Gwen being a South Carolinian, she's going to yell at me for that. You know what we say when we get mad at somebody, don't you? A Southerner. Well, bless your heart.
Oh yeah, bless your heart. Yeah,
but that's basically a nice, polite Southern way of that.
Yep. Yeah, I do hear that, and my first thought is, yeah, they don't like me. They don't like me at all.
What was that Marla just said? I just had to reminding myself not to put my arms in the way. Yes, I have camcorders I put on my hand.
Okay.
And it's hard to look in that little finder because you're looking at a picture of this big square.
Right.
And to keep it up, your arm gets tired. So next thing you know, you got a 2-hour video of the ground. You got to kind of hold that up so you're looking in front of you. And if you're in the dark, you're looking at that screen and moving by the way of the screen.
Right.
Of course, if you've got it up in front of you, you may be in pitch darkness because even if you're using IR light, it's not reflecting on anything. If you're in a big empty field or something,
Right.
so but you can't show your feet. But if you don't show your feet, you can trip over stuff. There's a root sitting there or a rock. Next thing you know, you're going for a nice tumble. You're staggering around.
Yeah.
But the camcorder on the hand or the GoPro on the forehead, that works.
That's why like I use my phone to record stuff, and I put it on director's view because that gives me two files. That gives me both cameras at the same time. So not only are you seeing what I want you to see, but the rear facing camera is also on and it's catching my reaction. So you know what I'm talking about. And my wife laughs at me because that I pretty much wear all my emotions on my face. I don't hide anything. So if somebody says something that I find just ridiculous, you see it in the camera, like I'm like, oh my God. All the eye rolling, everything comes out, and she laughs because it's like you can't put that up. You can't put a video up in public because you're rolling your eyes at this person because they're saying something so stupid. She's right though. I like, even though my internal dialogue might be like cringing at what someone's saying, I don't want to openly mock them. I don't want to make them or call them stupid or anything like that, because that's the opposite of striking up a conversation. That just makes someone mad at you. It shows people around you that you're not a nice person. And I'd rather have a conversation with someone, even if I don't like them. I'd rather have a conversation than them just outright hate me and there's never a chance to talk. So that's the way I roll.
Now another thing I use is I got some small lights. It actually is an EMF field. It's kind of like some of the REM pods, except they're very miniature, and you practically got to touch them to make the light go off.
And what do they react to?
Yeah, EMF field, like a REM pod. Any kind of electromagnetic field that gets close to the antenna, the REM pod lights up. And the way these real simple cheap ones do, they got a light going on all the time. But if you reach up and touch the antenna, you're picking up the electromagnetic field in your fingers. It'll knock the light off. So
that's actually a REM pod doesn't work the same way as a EMF meter does. So a REM pod is it's a condenser. It's not measuring the magnetic field. You need to ground. You need to be one side of a condenser to ground that. So it's two different concepts. So that's why I'm curious about this little thing you're talking about. So it's either, both do react to radio frequency, but they react in different ways.
A REM pod, you basically got to get your hand really close to it, to make it go, to make the buzzer go off.
Yeah, because it's grounding to you,
right? And what I use them for is if you're in a darker room and a shadow figure walks through, you can see it
from the light of these little.
Yeah, because if you're got a light on and it's 10 feet away from you, and all of a sudden, especially you got 3 or 4 in a row, and something eclipses them, so moves out of the way. The light's not going off, but it's being eclipsed because it's blocking your view.
Oh, so it's between you and the light. That's
right.
That'd be interesting to see. I'd like to see that.
I've actually somewhere in my archives, I got a video of something going back and forth where a light goes on. It looks like the light's going on and off, but the light was never flashing. I was standing there. Something was between me and the light.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
It was fascinating. Yeah. We were in an old mob headquarters. It actually had attempted robbery believe it or not, the mob was about to get robbed. They had a bar there, and an armed man came in there and said, "Okay, give me your money." And the cashier just pulled out a gun of her own and blew him away.
Okay. All right.
So I don't know if it was the guy who was attempting to rob the place or somebody else that had gotten killed there, or tortured there, or one of the people that were in the mob who used to run the place.
Okay. All right.
So we don't know who it was because they never said anything that we could hear anyway.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see all that stuff.
I've had some interesting stuff. You just have to trust me on this.
I trust nobody. Come on, lad.
Exactly. But I've had some interesting stuff. I'm skeptical about photos I don't take. Even more skeptical about videos I don't take. Voices I'm not there. But when I was there and saw it, I've seen stuff that's weird. I can't explain it. Because I try to look at it when it's happening. How did this happen?
Right.
And when I draw, okay, that's a transformer, or that's a recorded voice, or that's just radio noise. That's some guy talking about selling Chevrolets over the ghost box. But I've heard things on the ghost box where they will almost immediately name a name or say something relevant to what you ask. Not that often, but often enough where I've seen it several times.
I envy you because I've never had that experience. I've gone through. I've sat with various groups that have been gracious enough to let me tag along, and I've waited. And I don't think I've ever heard a response that was relevant to the question that was asked. And I want to put a disclaimer in there, or clarify that once in a while they'll ask a question, they'll ask another question, and then maybe another one. And by the fourth question, somebody hears something come over the radio that answered the first question, or they think answered the first question, and they're like, "See, look, it works." I'm like, that doesn't count. Like, that's not conversation to me.
When I use the ghost box, I turn it up where it's scanning at the highest speed it'll go.
Okay.
So when you may hear the word chair or Chevy or car, whatever they're selling, cheese, whatever, but the words are so fast you don't hear the whole word before it goes to another channel. Because I'll set it where you hit 3 or 4 channels in a second,
and that causes a problem in itself, because now you're hearing parts of words that form other words, and like, that's why that needs to be recorded. Actually, right. My big idea for this would be to have several radios. Like, go to a location, find all the local stations that come in relatively clear, and have a radio for every single one of them, and have them all going into one laptop, recording in real time, along with recording of the box that's cycling through all the stations. Because if somebody asks a question and they do believe that they got honest communication from an alleged spirit, we can look at that timestamp and go back and see, hey, let's check all the stations, what was being said. Maybe we might be able to find that word. We might be able to find that phrase that they heard and say, well, no, like, it was this. But if we can't, that makes it more interesting, because now it's like, all right, this didn't come up in that timestamp. We covered the 20 stations in this area. Nothing came up. Like, where did that come from? That would be interesting to me. But again, like, that is a scientific test. That's a way to document every single thing, to rule out just random stations. Because right now, every ghost box session is just someone listening to a cycling radio and that's it. There's absolutely no way that one can prove that a voice coming through was not a radio station, because that's exactly what it's designed to do. So that would be a good test. It's just, it would be expensive, and I don't know.
You've got to get several people who have equipment, and I've tried to form a team here in Arkansas, and I've had two people say, I want minimum wage, or one guy said I want about $12.50 an hour to go ghost hunting with you. And I said, I am not paying you a penny to go ghost hunting with me. I'm sorry. Plus paying all the expenses. So, so if we got to pay $50 to get into a location, he wants me to forward that. And no, I'm not. So I have no group down here. And on a tour, you can't organize stuff like that. People want an experience.
Right.
They don't want a real investigation like you're talking about. It could be done if you've got a team of about 7 or 8 people, and all of them got equipment. That you put different kinds of equipment that will work together in a room, then maybe you got something.
Right. Yeah. Like something like what I described, that's going to take not just multiple radios and other equipment and stuff like that. It's going to take designing a program. It needs its own custom program that will take in all these inputs and make sure everything's time stamped and that you can search by time. There's a lot to it. There's really a lot to it. That's why I haven't gone into it, because it's time consuming. It would be really cool, but it's time consuming, and I don't have the time to devote to something like that. So
yeah, I had a guest on 8-10 months ago. I was on another network. He had come up with an interesting thing. He runs it through a computer. Now, this thing he has is the size of a coffee table. So he has to do it in his basement, which he claims is haunted. Again, I've never talked face to face with this guy. I've never been in his basement. So, but he takes a ghost box. It goes into his device, filters out all the white noise, filters out the channels when it hits the channel, and then he claims to be able to go interactive with it, where you can ask questions and they give legitimate answers, and you can hear it clearly because, again, white noise and the radio noise has been eliminated. So basically, he's running it through a synthesizer. Well, you've seen these on spy shows where they eliminate the noise of a recording. That's basically what he's doing.
I mean, so if you're taking out what they call a white noise, that's the background static.
Right. The noise between channels.
And you take out the radio broadcasts, you have nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing there. So my first suspicion would be that whatever device he has is creating the noise, creating the sounds that he's doing, because you're eliminating the only 2 sources of sound coming out of the radio by doing that. So there's nothing. He has to introduce something else in order to create a sound.
Right. That's what this program does. It's pretty sophisticated computer, I guess.
Yeah.
All that is inputted. It just eliminates it.
Yeah, that's something that would require a closer look, because it sounds very sketchy. It sounds very sketchy, but I don't know the guy. I've never seen it, so I'm just speculating.
He can't reproduce it, and you can't sell it to anybody, because to build it, but it could cost him several $100s just to put it together, plus the hours he had to put it together. If he paid himself federal minimum wage, less than $8 an hour to build one of these things, he couldn't sell it for $2,000.
Well, see, this is the kind of thing that should be written up and published. And I don't mean published in like a ghost hunting magazine or something like that. If he truly believes that he has achieved communication with some entities, then writing it up, explaining exactly what the device does, what it's made of, what the components do, all of this, and then submit it to a peer review journal, because that's how you're going to get it recognized. If he just does it by like social media, that's why it seems sketchy. If you're doing science, if you're performing good, honest science, and you've achieved something so great, this is something that you would want to publish in a journal, because that's how it gets recognized. And then other teams out there will look at it and go, well, let's make this. And that's the point of scientific analysis and research and replication, is that you put that information out there, all of it. Like you can patent it if you want to, if he's afraid of anyone going to steal his design, but you patent it, but you put everything out there so that another independent team can say, we're going to build this, we're going to test it under the same conditions you described, and say, okay, we're going to see if it works. And that's where you find out if it does or doesn't. Uh-oh, we're going to get kicked out.
No, I am not kicking you out. I'm just saying it's been almost 2 hours. And as much as I love you guys, I'm a little bit tired.
Kicked out. That's a nice way of kicking us out. I appreciate that.
But I will make y'all this offer. Kenny, you can come back and do this again.
Well, like I said, I'd love to do it where we can maybe have my ghost box charged up, have my echo box charged up, and we can see if we got some kind of, and I've done this on the internet before, where it's responding to both of us. So you could sit there and have something off screen and say, what is this?
Okay.
I would even do one in here and you guys couldn't hear what it was saying. You know what I'm saying?
Or what color is this? It could be, so I believe it's an R2D2 behind on your right shoulder, isn't it?
Oh my God, my right shoulder. Oh, this left shoulder. You see that? Wait,
no, the other way. Right there.
What is that?
CPO. CPO.
C3PO. Yeah, that's a case. Yeah. That's an old school Star Wars case.
Oh, I like that. Lee, you got to look at this case.
Yeah, oh, there it is. All your figures would go in there.
Wow.
Hang on, Lee's coming to look. Hang on just a minute, Kenny.
Okay.
Will you open it back up for Lee?
Sure, absolutely.
Oh,
So
wow. The old one. Isn't that cool?
This is 1983.
Oh, man,
I love, yeah, my husband would flip out.
Yeah.
I have.
He would.
Hey, I bought him some walkie-talkies for Christmas, and it was, who's it got? Darth Vader and the what's the white one?
It's Darth Vader, and then it had the oh crap.
What's dang it? You see, I'm tired. Darth Vader. One of the
white ones.
One is black, one is white. One's Darth Vader, and one's the
Stormtrooper.
Yes, Stormtrooper. Thank you.
Stormtrooper. That's it. I was like, what is wrong with my brain?
Yeah, I bought him those for Christmas.
But the test I'd like to do is get something like that, where you know what it is. It's sitting to your right or the left, or on a special table by itself, just out of camera range. And you don't even tell me what it is. You just say, point to it. What is that, and what color is it?
Okay.
And we can test this.
That'd be
fun. Yeah, I'm up for that. That'd be fun.
And Gwen can come up and she can hold up a sign that got a U on it, a star, or whatever.
I can put something on here. I'll borrow something of Lee in those. I use mostly theirs. I know she'd think it was cool too, wouldn't you? If they did an experiment where everybody has like a ghost box or something, and like, see what we could. Yeah, she's saying yeah.
We could do another show that could do this from 3 different locations.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
yeah, it'd be fun. I like that kind of stuff. So, all
So
right,
we'll have you back on the show
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
later on.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. We can wrap it up because I know she's tired.
You guys, I am sorry. I am. We had the show before. We had Kevin. How do you say it? Oti? Adi. Odi, and that was kind of we do our haunted sister diaries every once in a while. So it's not an every week thing. So.
That's cool. I get it. I understand, and it's late. It
is, but you know what? I gave you 2 hours, Lynn, and I love Lynn.
It was fun.
I know.
It was.
I was sitting here listening, but a little tired. So if you don't mind wrapping it up in the next 5 minutes or so, that'd be awesome.
Okay. We can wrap it up in 5 minutes.
Yep.
Kenny, have you got anything else you want to say? And please tell people where they can find you again.
So you can find me at skepticalinquirer.org. That is my author's page. So pretty much all my work is on there. You can also find me every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube and Facebook. You just look up Kenny Biddle. And I do a show called The Skeptical Help Bar. It's 2 hours live, and it's usually open to questions and discussions and stuff like that. It's a fun time. We have a lot of fun.
Where can we see that?
That is on either YouTube under Kenny Biddle, just my name, Kenny Biddle on YouTube, or Facebook under I am Kenny Biddle. That's my public page. So you can look it up, watch it, interact with everyone. I do lectures and stuff like that. Real quick, I'll be in Toledo, Ohio on April 18th. There is a place called the Collingwood Arts Center in Toledo. They're having an event called the Half-a-Ween. So it's like a oddities fair, which I love oddity stuff. I am a huge fan. So they're letting me come in there and speak. I'm going to talk about investigations from a skeptical point of view, and then set up a booth. So if you're in the area, you can come out and hang out. We can talk for a little bit. And then our big science conference, SciCon, is June 11th to 14th. That's here in Buffalo, New York. If you're in the area, it's a huge science conference, 4 days, and I'll be doing tours of my facility, the Center for Inquiry, the place where I work. I have display cases with a whole bunch of stuff, artifacts from all my investigations and stuff that I go over and I talk about. But other than that, my final words would be just pretty much my two things. One, my quote from Reacher is, in an investigation, details matter. Always remember that. Details matter. The smallest detail can change the course of your investigation. And then my mantra, my motto is never stop learning. So I think that's the best advice I can give you. Just learn something new every day. Go out there, buy a science book. Instead of watching like a YouTube channel about ghost hunting, I mean, do it for entertainment. But if you want to learn, buy a science book. You'll learn so much more. Buy a book on photography. Buy a book on video editing. The more you learn about that stuff, the more you will watch and see some alleged evidence for what it is, and usually mistakes or misunderstandings. So never stop learning. And that's it. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, Len.
I appreciate you being on. It's been a great conversation. You're talking about that. I'm learning a lot about carpentry right now. A friend of mine and I just added a room onto my house and resided the front of the house.
Nice.
Now we're going to put another room on the back of the house.
I just redid our kitchen, and I had no idea how to do any of it.
That's a learning experience. You start doing that.
Yeah.
And I will be 70 this summer.
Woo! You're still young.
I'm still trying to. I try to learn something new every day.
Good. You should.
And the videos you saw earlier, advertising the Paracon and especially advertising the vampire that's going to be down there.
Yeah.
I made those videos on Canva.
Oh, good.
And I'm slowly learning that.
Good. Yeah. Learn.
Yeah, we're about to play another video I made. That is my exit. So, Kenny, It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Thank
The
you.
conversation's been great, and I look forward to go ahead and sometime in the future, sometime this summer maybe, we can get together with Gwen and we can just get where we're trying to get evidence, and we'll see how it works out, because you never know what you're going to get.
We'll see what happens. Cool.
But I think it'd be a fun watch.
Yeah, it will be. It will be.
All right, Kenny, thank you again.
You're welcome, sir.
Been a great guest. We will do it again.
All right.
Thank you very
Take
much.
it easy, everyone.
Now, if you want to hang around for a few minutes, we may say something.
Sure.
Keep going around. At least you can watch this last video I put together.
Okay.
Gwen, go ahead and play my exit. And just remember, the paranormal never sleeps.